Over the past 200 days, I have been working on this cottagecore fantasy village, each building serving their own purpose. A sugarcane farm, trading hall, housing animals, and of course, my living quarters. Today, I basically want to double the size of this town, making builds, farms, new terrain, and even getting netherite. And if we want to accomplish all of that, we're gonna have to start by going to the nether. It's still so strange to see these new buildings in the city. We built these last episode, and they look beautiful. This whole process should be fairly easy, considering I'm in full diamond. I have something very nice in my inventory. I have a looting 3 sword. I went ahead and enchanted that before we started up today's episode, because otherwise we would be here a lot longer. First skull acquired. Now we just need one more. We spent about like 20-ish minutes to get the 2 skulls. Not too bad. And if you were wondering why I only got 2, well, that's because I got this little guy the other day. And now all we really gotta do is make our way over here, go all the way underground, just make a little bit of a tunnel, realize you forgot the soul sand and now need to make your way back, promptly return with the soul sand that someone had forgotten, and simply just make the wither. The purpose for doing this wasn't even the wither star. I mainly wanted deep slate, and with the wither exploding every block in its area, it was a pretty easy process to accomplish. And I kinda lied, I very much wanted the wither star. Alright, with a tunnel not even really that long. Look at all this. Look at all of this. This is in under like 5 minutes. So that's actually an insane amount to get so quickly. I know how I'm gonna get deep slate from now on. Anyways though, if it wasn't obvious, I went ahead and got this nether star so we can make a beacon. That way, by the end of today's episode, we'll be able to collect materials so much faster. I guess we'll replace that wither skeleton skull. Yeah, there we go. We got the wither head and we got the dragon head. Beautiful. And just like that, we have our beacon. Oh man, that is beautiful. Not quite as beautiful as we're gonna be looking soon though. In the last episode, we went ahead and upgraded this to look amazing and just be oh so protected. But we can't stop there. We're gonna be going to the nether to be upgrading our armor, because today we need to get some netherite. Well, this is definitely a start. Maybe not the best start, but a start nonetheless. I quickly spent some time mining tunnels in the nether to make it easy on myself, as we would place the beds, blow them up, and continue down the path. Honestly, for that amount of time we've spent here in the nether, and that amount of beds, 14. 14 is not too bad at all. Yeah, this was just a blatant lie. It was not good at all. Unfortunately though, I don't think beds are gonna be the viable option right now, especially with these guys not producing us the most amount of wool. Either A, we have to make ourselves a better wool farm, which would require us to get iron, and I don't really have iron at the moment, so I think that requires an iron farm, or we could go the route of getting a gunpowder farm, which I need to do anyways, because, I don't know if you noticed, I don't have many rockets. And while I'm thinking of it, why not both? So I think for the moment, we're gonna go ahead and switch up our task. I need a gunpowder farm, but in order to build a gunpowder farm, I'm going to need a lot of materials. And the best way to do that would be to make a beacon. We already have a beacon. But what we don't have are blocks. In order to get blocks, we must make this iron farm. So I think you know what that means. The process of collecting the materials was simple, but not too quick. I went around gathering wood, stone, and even more stone. Wait, oh no, wait, that's moss. As well as a lot of wheat from my farms, and even more materials that it's kind of hard to show the collection process of. And after collecting all of these materials, we are ready to build. Once again, I'm still using bundles. I think I need to go back to the end to collect more shulker boxes. That'd probably be a good option. Idea even. And this is where we're going to be building the first building of today. Yes, that's correct. The first. Because right here, we are going to be building our iron farm. But to do that, we have to do a few things. In order to get this place in tip-top shape, we had to do some terraforming. Some very light terraforming, I'll have you know. It was mainly just flattening the area, making it more like a plain, and flattening a little bit more ground as well for a future build, that you'll see a little bit later on. No more holes in the ground around here. And now, all we really gotta do is go ahead and start building up our new building, which really would make more sense after we build up this other building, but we'll get to that soon enough. This building that will house our iron farm was made a short time after the town was founded. There was a man that needed a home big enough for his entire family. With this town being so new, no building that fit his criteria existed. So, in order to provide for his family, he spent all of his inheritance money to build this house. With no more money to his name, he began working as a blacksmith, providing the village with armor and tools for the citizens. Mysteriously, the building now lays dormant. Not a person to be found around it, but weird clinking sounds can sometimes be heard from the top of the tower, and little bits of smoke coming out from the forge. Yeah, I like that. It fits so nicely with the village. I will say it is a little top heavy with the tower. Here we have the iron farm inside of our city. Let me show you around a little bit as well. Obviously you've seen the main building itself, but let me show you a few of these smaller areas. And right here we have a whole little blacksmith area. It's just off in this corner, and I really like that. You have access to the furnace, you have access to the anvil, and a cauldron as well, where you would stick the hot tools into and they would cool down, you know? This little nook over here, I really love it. And then over here we have the actual entrance to the building, and I did a similar kind of thing right here that I did at the farmhouse, so you know, might look pretty similar. As for the interior, yeah, a Creech classic, you could say. No, but I am going to be working on this a little bit more. Today, we're going to be completely finishing the interior of this build as well. As the iron farm is also working, this is a little problem that we have at the moment. You can hear it is working, and the iron farm, you see, it's been working. Slowly but surely. Something that I'm also going to be putting inside of this building as well is going to be a honey farm. I've been building with copper more and more, as you can see in these builds, that I want to keep it like this. I don't want that getting more green. So, we're going to need to get wax. And honestly, this is something I should have built beforehand because I've done the same kind of designs with other buildings. And also, all of my bees have left from that hive, so I'm going to have to find more. Thus starting my bustling busy bee adventure. Say that 5 times fast. Bustling busy bee adventure, bustling busy bee adventure, bustling bee busy, yeah, see. Looking for bees had me traveling all over the world. In the process, providing me with a few bees. And also, quite the story. Oh my god, look at this. Yo, R.I.P. this sailor. I don't know who this guy was, but this guy went down in a blaze of glory. Don't mind me. I am going to just take resources from this. I have never seen anything like this. Kind of cool. Kind of crazy. Yeah, you had to be there, I guess. Soon enough, this will be just a memory. Okay, alright. I'm burning a little bit. Sorry. Ooh. Buried treasure? Oh. Wait, that's actually really close. Ow, okay, alright, please. I guess I know what he was looking for. Oh, there it is. Ooh. That's pretty nice. And some might say that I lack a quality called patience, but yeah, I don't think so. While finding bees was kind of difficult to start with, eventually I got the hang of it. Finding hive after hive, all filled with bees. Through forests, through meadows, back to my farm, where all the big bees put on their charm. It's so nice to relax just sitting out here while the farms are working perfectly. Yes, that includes the bee farm. Now let me show you the proper interior for this place. Anyways, this is the interior of this little build, and I decided to go for more of a storage facility kind of thing. I'm thinking of this place being still more of like somebody's home, hence why I have so many shelves just around here, and then storage, and you know, like I said, kind of a storage facility in a way, but also somebody lives here, you know? We have gone ahead and got the bee farms all set up. They are working hard. And honestly, I don't think we'll need a better setup. I could have done like one in the nether to make it a lot quicker. But I think, honestly, this is it's gonna be more than enough for me. I am lacking with the interior on the upstairs floor, as you might have seen just a second ago, and in here. But over here, we actually have a way to access the iron. And as you can see, we're getting a pretty good amount as well. Just remove all the kelp. There we go. Perfect. Shoots us right out. And then we just throw an ender pearl. And I'm going to be leaving this ender pearl here because this way, this chunk will always be loaded. The iron farm will always be loaded, so no matter where I'm at, we'll always be making some iron. The one downside to this is if a creeper or zombie or something were to walk into this building and then walk over here and hit the ender pearl like so. Oh, or yeah, like that, exactly like that. I would teleport over here. So we just gotta make sure nothing like that can happen. Now that we've gotten that settled, we can finally collect some materials and complete this new building. The purpose this new building is going to serve is providing me with numerous amounts of bone meal. This is not only important for collecting a variety of natural blocks, but also bone blocks. That way I can use a lot without having to go collect them in the nether, making it a lot more renewable. The story behind this building is pretty tame in comparison to the rest of these ancient relics. The citizens of this town required fertilizer, as this town is mainly focused on farming, so a business was open to meet their needs, providing the whole town with all the fertilizer they could ever need, and in the process adding a nice little building into our town. It's hard to believe that we already have 2 brand new buildings in the city, but yeah, look at our new building over here. Man, this was a really different style that I tried to go for. I tried to do some different interesting things, and let me show you the interior. I hope you weren't expecting anything crazy. I ran out of materials a little bit here. I'll have to fix that. As for this part of the interior, yeah, once again, lacking in maybe just a few places. And you know, since we already did an interior, that's all I really got in the tank for today. This gets the job done. It serves its purpose. And right here, you can see all the bone meal that we're making. And for the moment, I'm just taking all the bone meal that we make and throwing it right back in the machine so I can get even more bone meal. And if you want to build this moss farm for yourself, I'll put a link in the description so you can watch the video for it. We're also not quite done over here yet, but let me check the iron farm. As you can hear, it's still working, and that is looking amazing. That is looking fantastic. We 100% have more than enough for this beacon. All right, where's my beacon? Thank you. Where do I want to put this beacon? You know, I think over here might work. I'm not gonna say too much of what I have planned, but oh, trust me, I have something planned for over here. Hey, there we go. And then we give ourselves haste 2. Beautiful. That's, yeah, like smooth like butter. This is what I've been waiting for. Collecting materials. This is going to be so much easier, so much quicker. The builds we're gonna be making now that we got this, more insane. After spending some time collecting materials, my tools were not in a good place. So I spent a little bit of time at the zombie spawner, getting some levels, and making my way over to work on the gunpowder farm. The creeper farm design that I'm using was originally made by Mushoden, and the link for the tutorial will be down below. As far as the building process of this thing, the most annoying was the snow golems. These guys were annoying me a lot. Placing the blocks took a while as well. Trapdoors were also very annoying. Maybe even the slabs. Maybe just the whole farm itself was a little bit of annoying, and I think some of that annoyance comes from the fact that it's kind of an eyesore. But it doesn't have to be. We might come back soon to fix that. After spending a little time here at the creeper farm, I have gotten so many levels. I've been able to fully fix up my tools as well, and man, it is so nice. As well as getting a bunch of gunpowder. Look at all this. And having this gunpowder is amazing because now we can go back home and make all the TNT we could ever want. This, of course, meaning we can now do a bunch of ancient debris mining. And oh yeah, I almost forgot. We can make a bunch of rockets now as well. We just gotta stop over here at the sugarcane farm and... Ooh, yeah, okay, see, that works pretty nicely. We're gonna make a bunch of rockets. I had a full sugar box, and now I'm down 10 stacks. Hopefully this is enough. A quick trip to the desert and a quick trip back to the gunpowder farm has left me with a bunch of TNT. Alright, I think we're ready. But instead of taking this journey all alone by myself and being so lonely in the process, I think I'm gonna take my mini-me with me. Yeah, it's the same as a totem, but just looks like me, so, you know, cooler. Yeah. As I made my way into the nether, I thought about how shameful my display of ancient debris was earlier, and I was determined to not let it happen again. Although slow at first, even with the TNT, and a few annoying characters slowing down the process, I finally started finding ancient debris. More tunnels and more TNT led me to having more than the last trip pretty quickly. At some point, I had also put on this texture pack to make ancient debris easier to see, because man, that was awful. Frankly, it felt like I was shiny hunting in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so yeah, it was not fun. With my eyes getting somewhat of a break, I sure wasn't, because I was having to block up so much lava, and having to deal with this for like 10 minutes. Yeah, these guys were not leaving me alone. It wasn't even my fault. It was the TNT. It wasn't me. And eventually, I was happy with the amount of debris that I had found, so I could finally leave. That and I was out of TNT, you know. There we go. And there we go. We have all the scrap and 12 netherite ingots. That is pretty good. And you know, all we really need to do now to actually upgrade our armor and tools is to go back to the nether. Go figure. Because we need to go get an upgrade template. Which means a bastion. Which means piglin brutes. Which means I am going to have to be careful. And by careful, I mean extra careful. Can you tell I'm terrified? So I made my way over to a bastion that I had found when I was collecting materials for the iron farm. And even though I didn't find the upgrade template in this first one, I was finding some pretty good stuff. All things considered, I wasn't too disappointed with the loot. And the same kind of thing continued into the second bastion as well. And in the second bastion, I found exactly what I was looking for and made my way back home to finally upgrade our armor. The actual and for some reason my microphone sounded very weird. After also upgrading my tools, I decided it was time to continue working on our area that we had begun working on at the beginning of this episode. If you ever want to completely overhaul an area, the quickest way to do that is to terraform. And that's what I started doing. Initially starting out with stone to be able to lay the base foundation and texture a little bit later. I continued to build up the land as I saw fit, adding some little cliff sides. Because for this kind of terraforming, I wanted to be more cliffy rather than sloped. I was also using moss around the top of these cliffs. That way, when I'm doing more texturing, I can bring down more of that green to make it feel a little bit more interconnected with the rest of the terraforming. Being happy with the 3 different layers of this cliff, I went ahead and started texturing, using blocks like moss, mossy cobblestone, stone, tuff, and even some acacia logs, trying to use this kind of gradient. In the top part of the cliff, I even used clay to emphasize the lighting of this thing, to make it feel like actual light was hitting this. And as much as I love the land that we just made, it's not quite good enough on its own. For instance, trees. Trees would elevate this land beyond what it could be all on its own, as well as adding more vegetation too. When you're trying to make something look natural, you gotta add all the elements. You can't skip out on one. That being said, the area that we have been building today has been kind of isolated in a way. We've been building up all this stuff right over here, but not connecting it to the rest of the town. So let's fix that. The easiest way to connect everything up is to build a pathway, but I don't really have enough room, so I guess that means a little bit more terraforming. Using the same kind of style that I already did moments ago, I built up this little section next to the water, which serves kind of multiple purposes. One being a natural barrier, and the other just expanding the land a little bit, and then of course adding the pathway into its place. Slowly over today's episode, we have built so many things that have connected our area together to make it feel more alive, and this pathway encompasses that perfectly. I need to do a little bit more with this pathway. As you can see, I went ahead and added a little bit of coarse dirt on the outside of it in some areas just to feel like it's a little bit more run down. I'll have to add a bunch more grass around here as well to make this area feel, well, not so flat. And I can show you over here, I've actually gone ahead and done that a little bit. I added a little bit of these fences with lights and a bunch of grass across the land, making this pathway look so much better. We have the tree, the pathway. Okay, you're gonna follow me along here, Gregory. All right. And with the town becoming more complete, I'm thinking more about these projects that have been a little bit unfinished, like this right here. I'm thinking we're gonna have to start moving villagers into this place. I think I should probably also show you this bone meal farm because, like, we built it way earlier, and currently we're actually on day 348. We started at 200 something. So I've been doing this for over 100 days, and we've been getting a lot of bone meal in the meantime. So the bone meal farm has been working amazingly. And speaking of amazing, oh my goodness, I love this area. I really gotta light this area up a lot more though. Hence why I started doing like the fences. We gotta get some street lights though, some actual street lights. But this place looks so beautiful at nighttime. We just need to make it safe at nighttime. And I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm probably gonna bring this pathway up along here. but we're gonna wait to do that for a moment because there's something else that I want to do. Earlier, I mentioned how I want to have one last building made today, and that's what we're gonna do. This new building that we're making is not only new in style, but also new in origin, because this building was made long after the settlement was first founded. While the only purpose of this building is to be a house, it's gonna open us up to more opportunities going forward. Making this building feel different from the rest was a little bit of a task, but I feel like I got it down pretty nicely. Messing around with the shape and color of the roof, I think is what really elevates this build. The gradient from granite to acacia just works so nicely, and I'm hoping to make more buildings like this soon. I've been sitting here a while, just looking at this build. An unfortunate thing about this build is, I think it actually looks better than all of the buildings we have in the city so far. Honestly, the only thing that throws me off a little bit about it is the tower, but even then, I don't know what I was doing, but I think this ended up turning out a lot better than I really thought it was going to. So, let me give you a little tour of the build. Obviously, you've already seen the exterior of this place, and I'm just going to bring your attention to this little detail right here. I used some walls, signs, fence gates, and some slabs to be able to get this really nice archway. A very subtle slope archway is what I wanted to go for. And then I got a little side over here too. I gotta write something on there. I genuinely believe this build is the best looking by far in the city. Don't get me wrong, I like the builds we made here today. This one still, the tower just throws me off a lot. But you know, I don't know. Maybe it's the color of the roof, but I don't know. I really love this build. And let me show you, there's actually an interior. I went ahead and added a few storage areas. Well, kinda storage areas. This one over here is mainly for like just whatever they would have lying around. And then over here, you got a little seating area. You could take a seat. You could grab one of many books. Yeah, one of many, definitely. And just give yourself a little time over here to read. And then upstairs, there is nothing. There's nothing. Listen, my interior skills only go so far. And it also feels really cool because it feels like we're expanding further out of that little valley. And eventually, you know, I don't know what the future holds for like this area over here, but we could probably get some stuff going because we have one last thing to do before the end of today's episode. We need to connect this up to the rest of the town a little bit better. I started by bringing the pathway upwards, using slabs to make it a lot easier to walk up. I also did a bit of terraforming to actually make the pathway feel a lot more cohesive with the land. Continuing with the style of terraforming I did before, I also made a little cliff right next to the pathway. Of course, not forgetting to texture it, and finalize the area with the tree opposite side of the path of the house. With all of these new additions that we have made here today, I think we can 100% say that we have transformed this area. Just look at all these new trees, buildings, landscape, and vegetation that we've added today. It's honestly a little hard to believe. This over here, I can believe this. Obviously, we have a lot more work to do in certain areas such as this. There's still a lot more that I want to add into this area. New buildings, more farms, and even something over there. Something on quite a bigger scale. Adding all these new buildings and expansions to the town has been absolutely amazing, and words cannot even describe how happy I am with the direction of this town. With the progress that we've made here today, I think we're sitting at roughly 50% of the town done. And that excites me because even though I'm not ready to finish this town, I'm so excited to see what it's going to look like completed. So I hope you all have enjoyed today's episode. This is by far the most progress we've gotten done in one of these, and something tells me it's going to be like that a lot more often. I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and if you are new, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It does help out the channel, but I'll leave you here. I have been Creech Rampage, and I will see you all, hopefully, in the next video. Peace!